First data point, if we could pull up that tweet from Ron Stewart, shout out to Ron Stewart, does a lot of great work. But this was a notable day one and day two rookie running backs, their weeks 1 and 2 performances versus weeks 3 and beyond from a points per game perspective. He's got different running backs listed. Ezekiel Elliott, weeks 1 and 2, 13.5 points per game. He finished 23 points per game. Clinton Portis, Alvin Kamara started off weeks 1 and 2 of his rookie year, 8.1 points per game. He finished 21 points. Doug Martin, 14.2 to 20. The list goes on and on. Devon Achane, weeks 1 and 2 of his rookie year, 1.9 fantasy points. He finished right around 19. Jahmyr Gibbs at the bottom, the most notable one of recent memory, 10.3 first 2 weeks, and then he finished 17 points per game. Matt, it has not started off well for the rookie running backs right now. It has not. Ashton Jeanty, RB 28, Hampton 44. Hendo, I thought he was going to get more usage. They lied to us, New England. And then Quinshon Judkins, RB 47. So right now, early, the return on your draft capital investment, you took Jeanty in round 1, you took Hampton probably in round 2, maybe you got him in round 3. It has not yielded the fantasy fruit that we thought it would so far. But it is early. There is an acclimation period. There is a transition. There is just those guys figuring out how to play NFL football that at least Jeanty admitted to. Hey, this moved a little bit faster. I've got to get adjusted to the game. So while it has not felt good right now, Matt, I don't want to panic and say it's all doom and gloom. These guys are bust and they can't turn it around with 15 more weeks of football left to play.
No question. And we can just lead right into my stat here, because I think this in the table that I tweeted out this morning that really just kind of shows the point here. Just one rookie running back from this storied class that we talked about all in the offseason. Just one of these guys has over 100 yards from scrimmage right now. The leader in yards from scrimmage among the rookie class is Brown's 4th round rookie, the second running back that they drafted. Dylan Sampson has 112 yards from scrimmage. Nobody else is above 100 through 2 games. Bill Croskey-Merritt, 7th rounder of the Washington Commanders, is second at 99. RJ Harvey is 93. Travion Henderson is 94. First rounder Amarian Hampton of the Chargers at 86. Bashal Tutin is 85 at 6, and 7th is Ashton Jeanty, who was a first-round consensus pick in fantasy football, 6th overall by the by the Las Vegas Raiders. The 8th placed rookie running back in yards from scrimmage is Quinshon Judkins, who's only played 1 game. So that's how the rookie class has started, extremely slowly. So, Ray, I think let's kind of go like let's look at this table here and let's think about the guys that you're maybe most and least concerned about. If I was to ask you, like, who are you least concerned about right now that's had a slow start among the guys that actually people drafted rather highly? Harvey, Henderson, Hampton, Jeanty, etc. Who are you like, I'm not really concerned about this guy. I think he's going to get going and be one of those guys. From your example, the Ron Stewart tweet, where starts slow, but he finishes pretty hot.
Yeah, I've got zero concern about Ashton Jeanty. Let's get that one out of the way. It has not been an issue of usage with Ashton Jeanty. I don't believe you combine the other 2 running backs, Zamir White and Dylan Lobby. I think they've got 8 combined touches on the season, where Jeanty's pushing 40 right now. It just has not materialized in a fantasy-friendly way just yet. But the volume, the opportunity, it's still there. And I know it looked bad last night. Geno Smith contributed to a lot of that last night, and we've got some other issues with the Raiders' offensive line. But he's the one I've got the lowest amount of concern with is Ashton Jeanty. And the second one might actually shock you, Matt, but it's Quinshon Judkins. I just don't have any question mark. I'm not worried about him. They said they were going to ease Quinshon Judkins back onto the playing field against Baltimore, and then that went out of the window. He led the team in rush attempts, led the team in yards, and he looked good, especially on that one long explosive run where he was rumbling down the field. Like, this is the best running back that the Cleveland Browns have, and this is a team that's probably going nowhere fast, so he's going to get more opportunity as we move forward. I would be a lie if I said I wasn't a little bit concerned about Omarion Hampton, and it's not because Najee Harris looks like a world beater. It's the fact that this team wants to throw the damn football. They've got Justin Herbert. They've got 3-4 wide receivers and neutral pass rate. They're still one of the top 10 teams in the league. They're just throwing the football time and time again. So when you think about a first-round running back, I'm thinking bell cow, a guy that's going to go out there and get 15-plus opportunities a week. It's only 2 weeks. I don't want to overreact, but I also don't want to underreact, as you said. Hampton is the one I am a little concerned about, and the play hasn't been up to par just quite yet either.
Yeah, I think that point right there is the most critical one, because definitely if you drafted Amari and Hampton based on, well, he's going to be the bell cow back for a Greg Roman, Jim Harbaugh, run heavy, power based offense, you already got that wrong. Like that's already incorrect, because that's not what this team is. I saw a post from Adam Levitan, which he was sharing, I think, the neutral pass rate of the team. They're pushing, his point was like, they're pushing like 1984 Dan Marino type passing volume at us right now. And it's working. That's the thing. There's no reason for this team to change. I do think that Greg Roman, like that fourth, the goal line sequence when he really did just try to power it up the gut with Amari and Hampton there, which by the way, again, went super poorly. We're showing the tweet right now of Adam Levitan. The Chargers have gone full 1984 Miami Dolphins on us here. Anyways, that was like Greg Roman, like getting like a little hit of power football back on that goal line sequence. And then that went so poorly that it's like, yeah, we got to just keep throwing heaters with our quarterback who's white hot right now. So I don't think that rushing volume is coming back. And to your final point there, which I think is the most important one, Hampton himself is not necessarily giving them any reason to like change course here. In fact, I think he's giving them reason to maybe try a little bit more Najee Harris. And, Najee, to his credit, looked decent on the couple of pass catches he got in that game last night. The whole thesis behind Amari and Hampton was that, okay, Najee Harris, has the eye injury, so any sort of like early season veteran deference is probably not going his way because he's not going to be there in training camp. That's exactly what happened. But the second part of that had to be that Amari and Hampton was so good that he just never gave the Chargers reason to go back to Najee Harris. That part is getting a little tenuous, even if it's not all his fault. The offensive line is not great as a run blocking unit, but like, again, that's not changing either. Rashawn Slater's not coming back through that door. So I agree with you that Hampton is somebody right now I really liked in that like late third round that is making me a little bit nervous here.
I'm going to be very honest with you. That goal line sequence last night I think it was a very pivotal moment because they gave him opportunity to punch it in. And there was a play where the damn safety was in the backfield as soon as he got. I'm not saying it's all his fault, but you know what it felt like? It felt like 2020 when the Chiefs had Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And I think it was the first game of the season.
Oh, no.
He got like four goal line touches in a row. You remember when he got the four?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
He couldn't score, and you're like, oh, boy. And they didn't do it anymore. They were like, you know what? We wasted damn downs with him. It felt just like that. I'm not saying he's the same type of player, but that moment in the game felt like a real turning point for, okay, this isn't going to work. We're not going to – they couldn't punch it in versus the Raiders. And they gave them opportunity after opportunity. This is one where for the cost that we paid, we didn't have to pay late third, mid third. If you were scared you weren't going to get him early third prices for RJ Harvey. You weren't having to pay that for a player like that. We were drafting Amari and Hampton to be our fantasy football team's RB2 at the worst. Some spots, if you faded running back, this is going to be my RB1. And right now, you're sitting back thinking, man, would it shock you, Matt, if next week Najee Harris out-snapped, out-touched Amari and Hampton? Because it wouldn't for me. And I'm not saying that his career is over, but this iteration of this Chargers teams now, we can't waste another goal line on that not happening. And it's just a little unfortunate that it hasn't materialized yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like, 100%. I didn't think that was going to be within the range of outcomes. That's at least in the range of outcomes right now. Now, to his credit, he's not going anywhere, but Amari and Hampton is, I mean, like truly he's not going anywhere in terms of like gaining that many yards down the field, but that was what I meant by that. I mean, he's not going.
I thought you meant, yeah, he's a first rounder. He's going to be there for you. Like, no, he's literally not going anywhere on the field.
No, bro, he's averaging 3.1 yards per carry. He's not going anywhere, but he's averaging 2.83 yards after contact per attempt. But the problem there is that the Chargers are 30th right now, I believe, in on their run. Yeah, 30th on their running back runs in yards before contact per attempt. So they're not giving him any push there. Super mean tweet of mine that we're showing. You could tell that was like after midnight because I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna say it. But yeah, no. So they're definitely they're towards that bottom rung in terms of gaining extra push. So he's gaining some yards after contact, but he's just getting contacted so early that like he doesn't have that. He doesn't have the shiftiness that maybe you want. He doesn't maybe have the vision on some of these gap concepts, which shout out to my buddy James Coe, who did some running back charting this offseason. And he was hammering that point home. But like, yeah, Hampton's not really a good fit as like a steady gap based runner. That's been true so far. And he doesn't have those creases to hit the home runs that he needs. So I'm definitely concerned about Hampton. But Ray, I'll push back on you a little bit about the Ashton Jeanty concern. I'm a little worried about some of the like Ashton Jeanty redraft stuff because I mentioned the Chargers are 30th in yards before contact per running back rush attempt. Would you like to guess where? Well, I mean, now we're showing on the screen. Would you like to guess where the Raiders rank in yards before contact per running back rush attempt?
If you would have given me over under 50, I'd have been like, you're crazy. He's not. I would not have guessed this. I'm the Raiders quite low.
As a team, they're dead last. Their Raiders running backs are averaging minus 0.23 yards before contact. These guys are legit getting hit in the backfield. And obviously that's mostly Ashton Jeanty here because he's pretty much Dylan Lobby, Zamir White. These guys are getting involved in the passing game, which also bothers me a little bit. Like I don't totally love that either, and it's because I think Jeanty. You could correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, but I think he's had some issues as a pass protector so far. So I think that's been why those guys are in there in the 2-minute drill and stuff like that. So we've got a bad offensive line here. We might have legit the worst run blocking offensive line in the league. We've got issue like he's losing just a few touches here and there to guys like Lobby and Zamir White. That really wasn't part of my equation, at least. And then the third point, and this is like maybe a little bit of my priors showing. The one thing that worried me about Jeanty coming into this year, if I was to like try to poke holes at the big fish of this running back class, it's that he plays for the Raiders, and I just don't know that the Raiders are going to be all that good this year. And week 1 definitely was like, all right, that was a pretty good showing by Geno Smith. The neutral pass rate was high. We were both excited about that on this show last week. And then they were just abysmal against a very good Chargers defense. Geno Smith literally 0 for 13 on passes of 10-plus air yards last year. Like, this guy needs a lot of touchdown opportunities, I think, to pay off that ADP if he is also not going to be an efficient rusher behind this offensive line. So, I don't know. Like, I don't think that Ashton Jeanty will go down as a big loss, but I'm starting to be concerned that he might be like, not an outright first-round bust, like you ruined your fantasy season, but he might finish as more of like a mid-range RB2. That I think is now within the range of outcomes to me.
Listen, there are multiple people who were a little concerned about how high Ashton Jeanty was being taken in redraft. My co-host at the Wake Up with Ray and Jay show, Jay Rich, calls him the Mountain West Brian Robinson. He said he's the Mountain West B-Rob. And
oh no!
I guess, and you look at it, he's got 2 targets on the season. He got 2 targets, 2 receptions. This is one where my analysis and thought process about Ashton Jeanty is, if they would give him those 17 to 20 rush attempts, I think he could volume his way to relevancy. I don't know if that alone is going to return where you drafted him in the first round. Probably not. So I guess my expectation for Jeanty is no longer, I don't think he's a top 5 running back. I don't. This isn't Ezekiel Elliott in 2016. This is not that. I don't believe that he's got that type of skill set to return that type of value. And this offense probably is not conducive of an environment to support that type of output. Okay. Not that type of fantasy finish where Zeke, what did Ron have? He finished 23 points per game, 21 points per game, weeks 3 and beyond. My thing is this, you can't, if you drafted him, there's nothing else you can do besides cross your fingers, your eyes, and your toes, and your arms, and just pray that he gets those touches. At least that's the one thing you can kind of bank on with him. And you just need the offense to be a little bit better. The rookie running back class right now is not returning the value in which we drafted him. They're just not. They're just not.
Washington Commanders next on the schedule, Chicago Bears. Like, those are two defenses based on what we've seen so far that I think you can run the football against. So if you're a Jeanty manager and you're not trying to sell right now and like just get out on the name value, get out on the first round hype, then you got to be hoping that he hits big in those two matchups, which I think is not impossible. Last thing before we move off this segment, real quick, Ray, RJ Harvey or Travion Henderson, which one of these two guys would you bet is more helpful to fantasy managers throughout the course of the season, and which one is going to happen first?
Wow. A week ago, I would have felt real confident one way or the other. After week 2, I'm going to still bet on RJ Harvey over Travion Henderson. I think some of the same pass blocking concerns that we are talking about with Ashton Jeanty, I don't know if you saw the tape versus Miami, but they were very prevalent with Travion Henderson. And I don't know if, that's just him moving a little fast, trying to get into his pass route a little early, but
and that was supposed to be his calling card. Sorry to interrupt, but that was supposed to be his calling card coming to the league. That's a problem.
Absolutely. So you're talking about the type of running back that you don't want to just jam up the middle because he's not a big guy. Like, you could just watch him on tape and be like, Ramondre's he's a much girthier build at the running back spot. And after a week of listening to New England tell us how much more they're going to use him in space and use him in the receiving game and get him touches, they pulled his usage back. They pulled it back. And it's not like RJ Harvey's didn't get pulled back either. That game was just a wild one, and I'm sure we'll have some conversation about the Colts later down the line. I love Henderson's skill set, and it does it's conducive of what we want in fantasy. He's a pass-catching running back. He's an explosive running back, but so is Harvey. And I just think that at this point, if I had to bet on one or the other, having more confidence in one or the other, it would be Harvey, but I don't feel great about that one either, Matt.
I think that obviously, nobody wishes injuries on anyone, of course, and I hope that J.K. Dobbins stays healthy and like crushes the rest of the season, but that's obviously a guy that has struggled with injuries, and like RJ Harvey is probably one J.K. Dobbins missed game away from really taking that job. I agree with you, by the way. I think I would pick Harvey. The Broncos run game has still been like what looks like a fruitful environment. They're 12th in yards before contact on their running back rushes. So that was the case last year. This is an ecosystem that's set up to fly from a running back perspective. New England, I'm a little bit more skeptical of. So I agree with you. Right now, if I'm betting on one of the rookie running back in the second half of the season, among those guys that just haven't gotten enough touches, but at least have 90 yards from scrimmage, I would bet on RJ Harvey over Travion Henderson.